What it is, what it do, what's poppin'. It's Marquis Q coming to you guys out of North Carolina, Salisbury, North Carolina to be exact. I've been kicking with my dad since yesterday when my flight touched back down on the east side. A lot of you guys know that I attended the Astroworld Festival this past weekend in Houston, Texas. But before I dive into that, and really tell y'all about my experience and what I've seen and the conversations I had with people there and people that wasn't there that came that called to check up on me. I just want to first off pay my respects and give my deepest condolences to the ones that was not able to make it out of concert. As we all know, or as you guys know, if you don't, then 8 people passed away and hundreds and hundreds of people were injured, and even more were hospitalized for the injuries. So I just want to first thank God for allowing the people that came with me, myself, and the people that were able to walk out the festival with very little or no injuries. It's definitely a blessing, and I'm definitely grateful to still be walking on this earth, still be breathing, because like I said, unfortunately some people didn't have that same luck. So definitely, deepest condolences to the families and the loved ones of those that passed and are injured or still receiving medical attention for the injuries and whatnot. I also want to, appreciate or give a shout out to everyone that, called to check up on me, called to check up on the people I came with. That really meant a lot. You guys don't know, how relieving it was to actually know that people cared, to see about our well-being, to see how we were feeling and whatnot. So shout out to all the people that did that. And also shout out to the Way to Eight boys. I told them that they were asking me how I was doing, and in our group chat and whatnot, how I was feeling. And I told them that I can't really complain too much about how I've been or how I'm doing, because other people have it worse than me, or are not alone longer here with us. So I told the guys that after doing some time of thinking and actually reflecting on what happened, and I don't really mind talking about my experiences, or what I've seen. And like I said at the beginning of this, just pretty much give you guys a recap of what happened, and things of that nature. So shout out to the guys for allowing me to do this. And I guess I really don't know where to start, to be honest with you. I I guess I could start off with I guess the moments leading up to the festival. I met some people at the airport. I met this one guy who was flying on the same flight to and from there. I never met him before, but we started chopping it up, started talking about anticipating it and whatnot. Saying how crazy it's probably gonna be on the day of the festival. Friday morning, he went out there kind of early. He said he was out there till 9 or 10 o'clock, and it was really it really started then, I think, because he was showing me videos of people throwing stuff in the air, um, just acting rowdy, early on in the concert, before the concert even started. The concert, it wasn't supposed to start until 1 o'clock, but people already lined up by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and I heard some people even were there as early as 3 o'clock in the morning. So that right there already told me what kind of day it was going to be. It's probably going to be an ass of people. It's going to be maybe more people than I've ever seen ever at a festival. So but my crew, we didn't get there until 9 o'clock. Oh no, we didn't get there until maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock into the festival. But as we were getting there, it really was really just a big venue, a big area where we were supposed to be at. They had different security checkpoints. When we got there, there was somebody to check and see if you had a vaccine card. There was another checkpoint to see what kind of stuff you were bringing in. If you had a bag, they went through the bag. Well, they were supposed to go through the bag, but I say the security there wasn't really up to par for the type of venue and what they expected the concert to be. I don't know what they expected, but as you all pretty much know or don't know, this is the third annual festival that commenced. And the first two, I've seen videos. I've been on YouTube to see how those were, and even the Travis Scott documentary on Netflix. He kind of gives you a glimpse of what to expect from his concert, like the things that happen at his concert. So we wasn't there during the time that they was breaking in. That was happening like like way before we got there. So we didn't see anybody actually like break in or see like a stampede of people like rushing into like the the area. But we knew that it happened. Like we knew that this has the potential to get out of hand at any moment. So we go into the festival, like we're walking on the fairgrounds, like we're just pretty much like taking everything in. Like it's pretty much like decorated how I think it would be decorated. Like they have like different stations for you to do stuff. It's almost like a fair. Like they had rides, they had a Ferris wheel, they had like different stuff like games you could play, like food trucks. Like it was really like the whole 9 yard. Like it was a pretty nice setup. Like it was really something that I undermined. That they had like some place you could stand for merch, but that's the other thing too. Like there was nowhere that you went that did not have a line. So like even if you want to go to the bathroom, if you want to just get some water, like you literally had to wait in line for everything that you wanted to do within the festival. So that was pretty much like walking into it. That's the thing I didn't like. But I mean, what could I expect? Like other people were there, just like me, trying to have a good time, trying to take it all in. So it was just one of those things. But as we started like walking around and like started doing different stuff, like I said, the concert was supposed to start at 1 o'clock. I've heard that Metro Boom was supposed to start it off at 1, but I've heard that he didn't show up on time to actually perform. So we didn't get to see him. But the first performance that we did see when we walked in there, it was supposed to be Don Toliver performing at 4:30, and I go and kind of describe the setup of it. There were two different stages. Like I know there's like a lot of videos and whatnot circulating around about like the actual setup, and like I only see pretty much one video of one stage, but there were two different stages. The stages were for the other artists that were supposed to be performing. Like I said, Metro Boomin, Master P was out there. I didn't get to see him, but like the people I did get to see and I saw were Don Toliver, Roddy Ricch, Lil Baby, and SZA in that order. And then after SZA performed, Travis Scott was supposed to be performing at another stage called Utopia Mountain, and he was supposed to, do what he needed to do because he was the headliner for the day. It was supposed to be like a 2-day event, and Travis Scott was supposed to be headlining day one, Friday, and then Young Thug, I assume, or I'm thinking, was supposed to be headlining day two with a bunch of other artists as well. So the first performance that we saw was Don Toliver, and that really was the kickoff of when things started getting out of hand. I would say, like a lot of people think that Travis Scott performance was the one that really was got out of hand, like where really like things started happening. But I can't speak and say that people were not getting injured at the prior performances, but just from my experience, Don Toliver's performance was my first glimpse of like how crazy this could get. The girls that I came in with that we all flew in to see Travis to go to the festival, they were pretty much at the point where they were uncomfortable in the crowd of people that we were in when we saw Don Toliver perform. So they left. So I was literally by myself for the Don Toliver performance. So just to kind of give you a glimpse or give you an idea of like what was happening, it was like so many people. Like you could not go anywhere, like look in any direction, like move any place without bumping into somebody, without looking into somebody, without being like close to somebody, like in their face. So this was occurring like way before Travis Scott even came out to perform. Like I said, like Don Toliver was my first like glimpse of like how this could go. And like people, like it was everything that I pretty much imagined it could be, like mosh pitting, like people raging, jumping around, like random people like bumping into me and whatnot. So it was pretty much uncomfortable and like chaotic from the jump. And to be honest with you, like you almost had to be a part of that culture to really like be in a good position to enjoy the concert. Like you had to be a part of the madness in order to really enjoy the show. Like you had to be jumping around. Like if you were trying to stay still or trying to fight against it, that's when you had like the worst luck. And that's when things probably could have went bad for you, because everybody else is like, the majority of people were like out there like jumping around and doing whatever they wanted to do, like in regards to like the experience of like enjoying the concert. So I was there, like I was in the middle of like the mosh pit. I was pretty close to the stage when Don Toliver performed me too. Like I was nearly close enough to touch the stage at one point. But the deeper you got into like the madness, or the closer you got to the stage, is when the wildness and like the chaos started happening. Like it was just one of those things where like I've never been in a situation like that before, but I felt like I kind of knew what to expect, so I kind of braced myself to like be in a situation like that. So like I said, that was happening for Don Toliver's performance. It kind of like settled down a little bit when Roddy Ricch performed. But it picked back up when Little Baby performed. Like people were like mosh pitting, people were like jumping around, like raging, like had their phones out recording. So I say this probably went on like Don Toliver performed from 4:30 to 5, and then Lil Baby didn't end his performance till 7. So this probably went on for like maybe 2 hours and a half, like going on 3 hours. And then the last person to perform on that stage was supposed to be SZA, and honestly, like I mentioned earlier, like there's two different stages, like the one that everybody was performing at and the one that Travis Scott was performing at. When SZA, when Little Baby, the person that performed SZA before SZA, when Little Baby ended his performance, a lot of people weren't staying at that same like stage area to see SZA perform. A lot of people after Little Baby performed, they went straight to Utopia Mountain to see Travis Scott perform, at his stage, because I guess they wanted to get there early to get a good position or whatever. So, I mean, I was people. Like, I went along with, everybody else, because I was like, damn, like, everybody knows, like, I'm a Travis Scott fan. I'm not going to hide that. Like, I'm not going to act like, I'm not a fan of his music or, what he does. Like, I'm a big Travis Scott fan. So, quite naturally, like, I'm trying to get a good position to see Travis Scott as well. So, we go over there to see Travis Scott. Like we're in like the crowd of people walking. It's like already like a massive amount of crowd. I feel like more people were at that one than they were like at the other performances at the other stage. And me and my friend Brianna, she flew in from Kentucky. She's a big Way to Eight, fan. Like she always to the podcast or whatnot. So shout out to Brianna. She like walked with me over to the Travis Scott stage to see him perform and whatnot, and that like that those moments leading up to seeing him perform were probably when I feel like everything started like happening, and like the stuff you're hearing now started to formulate, because me and Brianna, like the way we were positioned, we were like near the stage, but like we were eventually like trying to migrate closer. Like we're trying to get closer to the stage, because I mean quite naturally you want to get closer so you can like get a better view of everything. But we were at the far left of the stage, beginning of, but there was a clock, there was a countdown clock that appeared like on like the screen on the stage, and once that came on, I really like everybody started saying, oh, like everybody was like getting hyped and getting excited, because I'm assuming that was the countdown before Travis Scott was to appear. So like I said, we started from like the left of the stage, and we were pretty good in our position. Like we really didn't want to get any closer, because I was like, I can see everything. I can, like get a good glimpse of what's going on. But we literally got pushed from like the left side of the stage to like the middle of the stage, like unintentional. Like we didn't even like we're trying to go anywhere, and like bro, like you literally were like at the mercy of the crowd. Like wherever which way the crowd moved, you had to go. And like I mentioned earlier, like if you try to stay still, you try to fight against it, that's when it got bad for you. So like we didn't want to move close to the stage, but like everybody else was moving. Like everybody else was like literally pushing us to the closer, like to the middle of the crowd and close to the stage. So I mean, we just had to be at the mercy of the crowd. So that was really my first glimpse of how this concert might be going, and that gave me kind of like a good idea of like what to expect. But eventually the countdown timer starts to get closer to zero, and now then it zeroes out, and then there's like a long pause, and like the music starts playing or whatever, and Travis Scott comes out to a song, Escape Plan. Like he dropped a song like the night before. He comes out to Escape Plan, and that whole introduction, like the flames start coming out of nowhere. Like I don't know where he was at, but he literally flew from like under the stage and like flew on the top of the stage and started performing, like started going crazy. Everybody else started going crazy. Like I'm even going, like me and Brianna going crazy. This is just some like this is like some astronomical shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we're literally like seeing this man perform, and I've already seen Travis Scott perform, but like I've never seen him perform, in his hometown or whatever. So he's going crazy, like everybody else is going crazy, and he's like getting the crowd hype or whatever, like saying like, what's up, Houston, doing what an entertainer would do, like a performer would do. So that, we stay for like the duration of that song, and it starts to, settle down a little bit, but then he starts to perform another song where like he's getting the crowd hype or whatever, and then like it really started getting bad around then because people realize, oh shoot, this is Travis Scott, like we're here, like let's try to move closer. But the girls, that we started like, quite naturally, like, make friends with people that's close to you and whatnot. But we were like near some girls, and I guess one of the girls, like she was shorter. She was starting to have, I guess, like a panic attack or an anxiety attack. When she was like, like I'm ready to leave, like I'm trying to get out of here. And I looked at Brianna and I was like, it might be best for us to get out of here too, because it's only gonna get crazier. Like we're at the point right now where like we're not, able to be comfortable just by standing still, just by like, trying to enjoy the show. And it was getting harder for us to breathe. Like I said, like all this is going on while people are still trying to like, bum rush to the front of the stage or like near the stage. So we eventually, start to migrate to the back. But as we start to migrate, and mind you, Travis Scott is still performing, still like getting the crowd hype. He like gets the crowd hype, and people are still like trying to rush. So like we're literally like maybe 4 or 5 of us trying to like go in the opposite direction where everybody else is going. So like I'm literally at the point where I'm like screaming in people's faces, like telling them like get the fuck up out my way, like bro, like it's not that damn serious. Like I'm telling people that, bro, like y'all literally going crazy for somebody that y'all not gonna see, like they're not gonna have a conversation with, that doesn't know you from a can of paint. Like bro, like y'all really like acting crazy for no reason, and just to really get to somewhere that y'all probably not even gonna get to, like for real. So I'm doing that. I'm like, screaming in people's faces, like elbowing people, like I said, you almost had to be in that situation. You had to be in the chaos in order to get out of the chaos. Like you had to be, that person that was shoving, that person that was pushing to get to where you wanted to go. And as we get closer to the back of the stage, we're like, still like bumping into people and whatnot. I think the girl's still having like an anxiety attack. Like I'm starting to see like people get carried out. People like, it's almost like people like passing out right in front of me. And then we get to like the eventual, like close to the back of it. And then we just all of a sudden see like a big circle, like bodies of people like on the ground. And I'll never forget this. Like there's this one girl that was on the ground, and she was like literally like shielding her face, like trying to protect her face from like getting trampled on. Like she was screaming like help, help, please don't step on me, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, bro, like this shit, like that's the part of the festival or the part of the night where I was legit scared for my life, honestly. And I knew that the girls that I was with, Brianna and the other girls that I was with, I was like, bro, like if any of us, if they fall into that like that pit of people, like there's like it's over. Like there's no telling like what can happen. So I'm in straight survival mode at this point. Like all manners, all politeness, all home training, all that goes out the window, because bro, it's like literally like I'm like fighting for my life at this point. Like I'm trying to make sure that the people I came with straight, and I'm straight, that we're actually like gonna make it out this alive. And I was telling people like, bro, like people are legit dying. Like people are like like having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, not knowing that the severity of the situation. Like I said, I can only speak for what was happening in my area. I can't speak for like what was going on other places, but from what I was noticing and whatnot, like I was using the term like dying and die to get people's attention, not so much that I knew exactly what was happening, So we eventually like get to the back of the stage, or like get to, not the back of the stage, we eventually get to like the outskirts of the whole crowd, and we're like almost like near the trees, like near the VIP area. And we're pretty much like pretty much like comfortable. Like people are still like bopping their heads and like listening to music, and Travis Scott's still performing. And I'm pretty much content. Like I feel like I honestly felt like I like was getting suffocated, like getting like held like so tightly, or like getting hugged on so much. And then I was finally able to breathe and actually like enjoy the rest of the show. But I knew at that point, like bro, I'm not going back in there. Like there's nothing you can tell me that will get me to go back in there. But then a song comes on, Knife Talk comes on, and I'm thinking like, bro, like there's no way that like who I'm thinking about to come out is about to come out. And Brianna was telling me this like from the jump. She was like, I think Drake's gonna come and whatnot. I'm like, all right, yeah, like it sounds good, but is Drake actually gonna come? But sure enough, like the bro, Champagne Poppy made his appearance, and bro, like when that happened, when he started walking out in that big, what my friends call it, big hunting gear and whatnot, when he came out in that big ass hunting gear, like bro, like the crowd, like there was nowhere that was safe at that point, bro. Like everybody from the back that was like in the trees or whatnot, like in the VIP area, like everybody literally started like trying to get to the front, like they was gonna touch Drake or something like that. Like bro, like you're not gonna get any closer than what you probably already are, but like people were still like going crazy just for the fact that it was Drake, and I understand it, but I still was like pretty content where I was at. But I was trying to get closer to get a better glimpse of him. But while he's performing that, it really like just took a turn like I've seen like no other. Like people were still like raging, people were still like jumping around, moshing and whatnot. So that like happened for like until the end of the concert. And but Travis Scott, I also want to mention Travis Scott did indeed stop the show multiple times. Like, I don't know what's been. I'm gonna get to this later too. I don't know like what's been like circulating or whatnot throughout the media, but people, if you're gonna tell the story, tell the whole story. Like Travis Scott did stop the show like multiple times to like get the people help that they needed to get help with. And before I get too deep into this, also, like I said, I'm not gonna hide the fact that I'm a Travis Scott fan. Like I am a Travis Scott fan. Like, he's one of my favorite artists. Like anybody that knows me well enough knows that. But I just want to make it clear that I'm not defending any of the actions that happened. I'm not defending him as an artist. I'm literally just giving you guys an idea of what happened, because it's different to talk about it, but I mean, it's one thing to talk about it, but it's different to actually experience it and then be able to talk about it. And I'm only sharing you guys' experience because I've actually been in it and I actually know what happened. But there's no way that I'm going to defend, the those deaths. Like, I think that, no one needed to die, or like nobody needed to get injured out there. Like, the fact that that happened is a terrible misfortune, tragedy. Like, it goes beyond like anything that, like anything that anybody stands for, anything Travis Scott stands for, anything that a normal, like, upright holding citizen should stand for. Like, nobody should have to die, at that concert. But like, as we're leaving the concert, whatnot, we start to like, hear people talk or whatnot, and we eventually get back to our hotel. And like we're like pretty much like going through the motion, like we're recapping, like, oh man, like this happened, like I can't believe Drake came out. And there's one kid like in like the back of the hotel, well, near the front of the hotel, like he's like, like you would have saw a look on his face, like he looked very, very like traumatized, like he just like seeing some shit that he wasn't supposed to see. And then eventually, I didn't talk to him personally, but eventually he goes to one of the girls and he like talking to her and whatnot, and he pretty much explains to her and tells her, like, eventually after they finish talking, he says that I think they're gonna cancel like day 2 tomorrow. And we were thinking like, bro, like, what you mean they're gonna cancel day 2? Like, this is a 2-day event. Like, we only been through like the first day. Like, we're already like planning on like, what we're gonna do, like how early we're gonna wake up to go to take day 2. And he's like just very adamant about saying that, nah, there's not gonna be a day 2. But then, we eventually like continue to talk to him, and he says that, he remembers stepping on a girl that was on the ground at the festival, and he says that I don't think she was alive. When I stepped on her, like I stepped on her face, and she looked like she wasn't breathing. But I'm saying, like I said, at this point we're very fresh out of concert. Like, we're still like trying to take everything that's in. And when he says that, we're like, he might be, being a little dramatic. Like, he couldn't have been no more than, like, he was a teenager. Like, I don't know the exact age he was, but he couldn't have been that old. Like, he was definitely a teenager. So we're like, man, he's just probably being over dramatic. Like, he really doesn't know what he's talking about. So that was the first incident of, or the first like news that we got that like something like that actually happened. And I left the hotel after that to get some food from like a close by restaurant, like a pizza place. And I'm still like, there's like a crowd of people, like everybody that's at the pizza place just went to the concert, they just left the concert, and people still like talking about, like, I think they're gonna cancel day 2. Like, they're like even like talking about people like that actually died. Like, I know people got injured. Like, I'm hearing people say like, I saw this person got carried out or whatnot. I seen people passing out, but I'm still starting to hear, or still hearing like, like death and like people actually died. I'm like, bro, like this is the second time I've heard this so far. So like, I don't know, like something can't be right. So I eventually get my food. I go back to the hotel, eat it, take a shower, do all that, go lay down. It's like maybe like 2 o'clock or like 1 o'clock in the morning at this point. I get a phone call the next morning, like maybe 7 o'clock or something like that, and it's from my dad. And I'm like, I pick up the phone like quite naturally. It's my dad, so I pick up the phone, and the first thing he says when he gets on the phone is "Thank God." I'm like, I'm like, okay, like I said, why you saying thank God for, Dad? He said, I ain't know, I was scared for my life that that I thought something had happened to you and whatnot. I'm thinking like, bro, I told you I was going to the concert. I let you know when I was going to Houston. I know it probably got crazy, but I didn't think you knew that. Like I'm trying to figure out like how do you know like how crazy it got. And I'm like, thinking about this stuff, and I started to say something. He was like, well, then you're going to call you Uncle Steve back because he's worried too and whatnot. But whenever you get a chance, like turn on the news or look at your phone, and whatnot. So he like hangs up the phone at that point. So I'm still like kind of thinking like, bro, like what happened? Like what is he talking about? And sure enough, when I like open my phone, like turn on the news on the TV, like the first thing that we saw, because everybody's up at this point, we saw that it said 8 people died at Astroworld Festival, like yesterday, like Friday, and we're thinking like, bro, there's no way that people actually died at the concert that we was just at, that we were just a part of, that we saw, people at. But sure enough, like it made national news. I think it made international news too. Like CNN was covering it, the New York Times was covering it. So at this point, like it's like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Like we legit or like trying to like backtrack the information that we have, or like try to like backtrack the events of what happened, because we're thinking like, bro, like how are people like dead from this? Like this is not something that we expect anybody to die from. And my thing is like, bro, like there's no way that any of this is like actually true. Like we were still like in so much shock from like the yesterday, like seeing what we saw and then hearing that people die from it. Like it really was like we were like legit like in the hotel room for like maybe 4 or 5 hours, just like trying to piece stuff together, like really just like calling our loved ones, checking in on people. Like so many people had checked on me like during that morning. I was like, bro, like this really is like some serious shit. Like I did not know that, like so many people knew I was in Houston. So many people knew I was at this concert. But I mean, quite naturally, like you follow me on social media and Instagram, I was pretty much documenting like up until like what I could document on. I mean, I lost service out there a couple times, but if you were following me on Instagram, you knew I was at a concert. So I was thinking like, bro, like people really are like worried about us. Like this is something that like it's almost like how you like hear about a school shooting or something like that. Like 8 people died at such and such. Like this is almost like how people like treating us. Like we just survived like a shooting or something like that. But in all actuality, we were at a I'm not gonna say I don't want to say deadly event, but we were at an event that turned deadly. At one point, because people were acting crazy, like getting trampled on and whatnot. And there's also like another rumor about like somebody going out there with a syringe, like pricking people in the neck with fentanyl and like some other stuff. I honestly can't speak on that because I didn't see anybody with syringe. I didn't see, I saw people pass out, but I didn't see like where they were passing out from. I just thought they were passing out just for the fact that, they were dehydrated. They were like, off of something, just, different stuff. So I can't, confirm that, that was true. But, like just hearing like, that people were out there doing that's kind of like, bro, like what the fuck is like wrong with people? Like I was legit getting upset because I was like, bro, like why the hell would you do that at a concert full of people that's supposed to be nothing but a good time and for people to actually like, like enjoy themselves at? Like this shit really wasn't making sense to like none of us, to be honest with you. And like I know like the New York Post, the New York Times were like posting stuff about like how Travis Scott is like going under the, like he should be the 100% blamed for it and whatnot. And even the stuff that I was like seeing like people talk about on Twitter that wasn't there. Like I saw people like getting like heated debates about why they think Travis Scott should be canceled, like why they think he should be the one at fault for, like how like this is all his fault. And like I said, like I'm not gonna hide the fact that I'm a Travis Scott fan, and I'm trying to, like approach this from like the most unbiased standpoint. Like I'm gonna put logic and reason above all else. But in my honest opinion, I do not think Travis Scott should be at 100% fault for what happened. Now, granted, he does play a part in, what happened like during it. Like he definitely could have done more to, actually I guess like aid the situation. But we have to understand like Travis Scott is a performer. Like he's not a first responder. He's not, like none of the stuff that I'm like people are trying to like classify him as. Like he's not a security guard. He's not, any of this stuff. So like they have people for that. Like there's people that's supposed to be out there like setting up the venue, like getting a prediction of how many people are supposed to be there. Like Travis Scott literally is the promoter and the performer. Like he's promoting it and whatnot. And like I said, I'm gonna keep it a stack with y'all. Like the stuff that he's done up until this point is very questionable because everybody knows he has the tendency to incite violence, and there also evidence of him like telling people to break into Astroworld. Like I know some people saying like like at him on Instagram or Twitter saying that they don't have a ticket to Astroworld, and he was replying to people saying like still come, like just break in the gate. And there's even some video out there circulating of him inciting violence from a fan. I guess he jumped into the crowd and whatnot, and the fan like attempted to steal his shoe. He tells the crowd, to beat that motherfucker's ass, like beating him up and stuff like that. And I don't agree with any of that. Like, despite all that, like that's wrong in any form of capacity. Like, I'm not that fanboyish to know right from wrong. So I understand that he has tendencies, and he's has a history of like he's even been arrested for it, like of inciting violence and like getting the crowd to the point where they're actually like harming other people. Like there's no hiding the fact of that. Like that's already happened. Like there's evidence of that. But in this situation, I don't think that we should be looking at him as the fall guy or for the scapegoat of all this, because like I said, like he's a performer. Like in my honest opinion of who I think should share the blame for it, I know you guys or probably have not. Either way, there's a video of two people, like concert goers at the festival, a guy and a girl, and you can see them like climbing like the stage or like climbing like some like elevator surface to get like the camera guy's attention to pretty much tell him that like this is getting out of hand, like people are dying and whatnot. And I honestly think that people like that should be held more accountable than who are we blaming them for, like Travis Scott, Drake, and whoever like are under these like allegations or lawsuits, because they have the direct power to tell Travis Scott that he needed to end this and whatnot. Like in my opinion, like you have to think from like a logical standpoint. Why is it more feasible for me to talk to a guy that's performing, that has a headset on, that is pretty much like entertaining the show and whatnot? Why is it more feasible for me to talk to him than it is for me to talk to somebody that's to my left and to my right of me, and that's like literally beside me, and I like have a better chance to get his attention than getting the attention of somebody that's right beside me? Like I was saying, like people were legit like not caring about what other people were going through. Like if you was to tell somebody that I'm trying to get out, like 9 times out of 10 they were ignoring the fuck out of you because they just want to like be there for the show. Like why are we not holding responsibility and holding accountability for the people that could have did something like right there, than for somebody that's like performing, that's supposed to be out there just like hyping the crowd up? And I'm gonna address this too. Like he did stop the show a couple of times, and there is a clip of him like saying the words, oh y'all want me to stop, y'all want me to stop, y'all know what y'all came here to do, chase B, do whatever, like get crowd back hype. I don't think, and this is my opinion, I don't think he knew the severity of what was happening, because I'm pretty sure if he knew people were dying at his concert, then he would have stopped it right there. But people passing out and whatnot, like I said, like there's videos of him like addressing the fact that people are passing out, telling people like make clear the way so like they can get the help they need. Like there's videos of that, but people are so stuck on the video of him saying, oh y'all want me to stop, y'all want me to stop, like Chase B to start that shit back up, like oh y'all know what y'all came here to do. I'm seeing that video circulate more than almost anything that is on like social media. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, bro, like, are y'all ignoring the fact that he did stop the show several times? But like to say that he didn't know is wrong. Like there's no way he did not know. But I don't think he knew the severity of what was happening, because you got to think about it. He's one guy looking at tens and thousands of people like at a concert. Like the amount of times that he stopped a concert didn't equate to the amount of times of stuff that was happening. Like people were passing and falling out. Like those two like don't like equate. And I just want to address another fact too, saying that like there's definitely rumors out there saying that, oh, this was a sacrifice, like this was like cult behavior. Like if you look at like the balloon head of him, like he's pretty much like symbolizing like some like a portal to hell and stuff like that. Like, bro, stop saying that shit, bro. Like legit stop saying that, because you're not giving any respect to the people that actually like lost loved ones, saying that their lost loved ones are sacrificed for this man that literally just came out here to like have a good time, or like, you know, give people what they paid for. Like everybody knows like how hard Travis Scott goes for Houston, how hard he goes for Houston fans, how much his fans mean to him. Like to say that he went into that festival with intentions of people dying and passing out and doing all that stuff, like you're being completely ignorant and disrespectful to the fact of the real intention behind it. Like stop saying that he wanted this to happen. Like that's not true at all. Like he literally did something where he opened up a garden. Like he had like a whole week of events going on, like, you know, and this supposed to be the main event of the festival. He had like literally a whole week of events going on where he like getting back to the community. And he even said that too, and in like his exiting words, I'm gonna get to that eventually too. He says that, you know, like we all, the purpose of this is to get back to the community of Houston. Like everybody knows like how much Travis Scott loves Houston. Like he had the mayor of Houston gave Travis Scott the key to the city. Like that's not something that, you know, somebody that has ill intent receives. You know what I'm saying? And what was I about to say? Yeah, the fact that the video of him like saying like, you know, spread love, like there's literally a video that I recorded of him like telling people, like a pastor would tell somebody, or tell like a pool, like tell the congregation at a church, like, you know, look to your neighbor, hug your neighbor, whatnot. Like he literally told people to do that before he left out. Like he said that and then performed his last song, Goosebumps. And I literally went to Brianna, like I hugged, like he was definitely like in a positive mindset. Like there's no way that you can like look at the first half of the festival and then look at that and say that he had ill intent, like he wanted like that thing to occur. Like he literally is all about spreading love, like, you know, being kind to one another. Like the people that are quick to cancel Travis Scott, like don't like act like you didn't have any reason why you didn't like Travis Scott in the first place. Like, and I hate when people say like, I don't like this person, I don't like that person. Like, bro, you never had a conversation with any of these people. Like you don't know what these people have been through. Like you never like had any interaction with these people. Like you can say like you don't like his music, you can say like I don't like the way he does this, or like this is something that I don't find like, you know, pleasurable, like attractive about him. But don't say you don't like some person that you never met. Like the only glimpse that we have of Travis Scott is through the media. Like we never like actually sat down, had a conversation with him, or actually like got to pick his brain about anything. So the only ideas that you have about this man is through a screen, like in all honesty. So the reason I like Travis Scott is like, you know, I do some research. Like I actually like what he stands for. I like what he does for Houston. I like what he does for his fans. So that's the reason I like him. But the reason you don't like him is because of some stuff that you get through on the screen. The same way I get through my stuff on the screen, but that makes me a fan of him. Like that makes me think he's a good person. But you're literally just going off of something that you seen somebody else say, or like that you like literally like on the bandwagon about. Like stuff like that really pisses me off, because I'm like, bro, like who are you to like judge somebody else? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna get off that, but like I say, like Travis Scott has had a history of like doing stuff like this. It doesn't surprise me that this happened again, but there's no way that somebody could have convinced me that that this would have been the outcome, or like this would have been the end result of like this festival. And like I said, like if I was to share some of the blame, or like, you know, who I think should be at fault for this, I definitely think Travis Scott should like share the responsibility of what happened. And, you know, as far as like legal cases and like legality, like he's gonna be the person that they're gonna sue, or like he's gonna be at the tail end of the damages, because like it's his concert, like it has his name on it. I've also heard, you know, rumors and speculation that Drake is gonna get sued as well, and Live Nation, the company, is gonna get sued as well. Cactus Jack Records, like his record label, is gonna get sued. So legally, they're gonna be the ones that suffer from this, because it's their name on it. Like they're the ones that hosted this event. But as far as like who I think should be personally blamed for this, like I said, the camera guy that ignored the fact that those two people were trying to get his attention to tell Travis Scott. I think the crowd goers like, bro, there's like very little responsibility on people that did not help, or that people that made the situation worse. Like, bro, like, why are we not holding the people accountable that actually could have directly did something, that could have helped the medics, that could have helped the security guards, that could have done something to make this a successful event? Like, why are we not holding those people that did more harm than good, or that was directly there at the event? Why are we not holding them accountable for what went on? Like I said, when me and those girls, Brianna, were trying to get out, like, we were in straight survival mode, so I couldn't. There's no way I could have helped everybody I saw. Like, it was literally like I was trying to make sure the people I came in were straight and I was straight. So, like, there's only so much that you can do in a situation like that because you're literally in survival mode. But there's just like a couple things that I want to like give shout out to. Like, I know like moving forward, I knew Roddy Ricch said that he was donating all his proceeds to the people, the families that were impacted by this, the deaths of the loved ones and the people that are still in the hospital. Like, that's very big of him to do that. Like, he didn't have to do that because, like I said, he was just somebody that was invited to perform at Astroworld, and he just was going above and beyond. So that's big kudos to him. I think where it needs to start out with Travis, I feel like he needs to pay for the funerals of the people that passed away. I'm not saying that's all he should do. I'm saying that's a good start. Like, that's the least he can do, is by paying for the funeral arrangements of the people that passed away, like, giving something to their loved ones or whatever. And for the people that's out there, like, like saying, oh, where's my refund? Where's my refund? Like, bro, like, you're literally a part of the problem. Like, you're being insensitive to like what actually happened. Like, you left there like unharmed, like very little to no damages. But there are people that still like are mourning the deaths of their loved ones. Like, nobody wants to get a phone call from somebody in regards to their loved one went to a concert and they didn't make it back. Like, nobody wants to get that phone call. And like, for you to like be worried about a refund and stuff that really doesn't pertain to like the morality of the situation, like, that really says a lot about you. And to be honest with you, like, I got my ticket like way in advance of the concert, so I was able to like live like without that money. Like, if I get a refund, I get a refund. I would like a refund, but it's not something that I'm like hurting for, because I've already like lived and I've already like like navigated without that money. So it's not like I'm like, that's my number one priority. Like, what I'm trying to like get people to understand is that like there's more to the surface, or there's more into this story than what you're thinking of. And that's really the reason that I want to get on this platform. And like, I really wanted to express to people that yes, it was bad, like it was a terrible event, like it was tragic, like there's no way this should have happened. But let's look more than beyond. Let's look beyond like the persons whose name is on this. Like, there were several different factors that went into this tragic event. Like, let's stop like trying to find the easy scapegoat. Let's stop trying to find the easy way out, and really start to ask the real question, like, who really should be at fault for this, and how this could have been prevented, and how we can do better moving forward. That's really all my opinions about it so far. I want there to be, if I had to say like there's anything that I want there to be better accountability for concert goers. Like, there's been like many like concerts where like people will pass out and like other people will like help them up, and like everybody will make sure everybody's straight. There needs to be a return of that. We need to get back to actually like caring about one another, like having each other's like well-being in mind, and stop being selfish. Like, stop like trying to like there's nothing wrong with having a good time. Like, I'm not saying you can't have a good time, but your good time should not come at the expense of someone else's safety, someone else's like chances of living. Like, that's when the line gets crossed at. Like, there's no way that you should be able to have a good time and like really be centimeters, inches away from someone else that's like fighting for their lives. Like, bro, like, we have to get back to understanding that, bro, like, the world will be so much of a better place if we just return it back to love. Like, we get back to like caring for one another. Like, you don't have to be buddy with people. Like, I'm not saying you got to be everybody's friend that you come in contact with, like any like given stranger, but you can still be a decent person, a decent well-being, and still like like keep it cordial, like keep it respectful. Like, there's nothing saying that you have to be like the best of friends with everybody you meet, but I feel like we as humans, as like people, we should have some kind of responsibility to make sure that like if we see somebody hurting or we see somebody is in a bad situation, that we help them out. Like, bro, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Like, why we have to get out of a selfish mindset, bro. Like, that's literally like the only thing that I'm asking, like, moving forward, because unfortunately there's nothing we can do about it now. Like, that's just the sad truth of it. Like, we can point the blame, like we can like do all this, like Travis Scott, Drake, like Live Nation, they can pay all these millions of dollars in these lawsuit cases, but none of that is gonna erase what happened. None of that's gonna bring the people back. Like, none of that is gonna like help the people that got injured. Like, it'll cover their medical costs, but none of that is gonna undo the damage that's already been done. The only thing that we can do moving forward that will be better for us, like for everybody, is to change the way we think, change the way we interact with each other, change like all like everything leading up to this point, because there's gonna be like I'm supposed to be going a day in Vegas next week or this week for that festival, and Travis Scott is still listed as the headliner performer on that festival, so on Saturday. And a lot of people are telling me that like Travis Scott performs, like I'm not gonna attend because I've seen how Astroworld Fest is. Like, to me personally, like I'm still gonna go to the festival. I'm still gonna like go to the day that he's headlining, if he still happens to headline. I honestly want to see like Travis Scott bounce back from this. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat anything. I want to see him get redemption from this, because this is a very unfortunate event. I'm not gonna go into the video he posted, the message he gave on his Instagram and stuff like that. Like that's stuff that probably his PR team told him to do, in all honesty. And like, but I honestly feel like he honestly feels bad about this situation and the things that happened. And there's no way that you can convince me, after what I just said about his part message, like the way he was stopping the concert in the middle of it, like there's no way you can convince me that this is something that he wanted to happen, after all, like looking at everything from beginning to end. So, bro, let's just get back to like caring for one another. Let's get back to love. Let's just like do better as human beings to prevent something like this from happening. Because like I said, there's nothing we can do about it now. But what we can do is move forward and try to be better people and like learn from this experience. I hate that it happened. I wish it didn't have to happen. I really wanted this festival to get off in the right way and be a success. But unfortunately, some people were not able to leave in the same way they came in, and some people, didn't make it out, unfortunately. So keep those people, keep those families in your prayers and your thoughts. Make sure that you're checking on your loved one. Make sure that the people that were at that concert and they saw something very traumatic, like that kid I was telling y'all about earlier. Make sure that the people that were there, check up on them. Make sure their like mental health is straight. Like I was talking to one of my pro fights like after the fact on Saturday, and he said like, bro, like some people go their whole lives without seeing like a dead body or seeing somebody die in front of them. So to actually like see that and how young that kid was, I'm imagining like he's probably gonna be traumatized. He's probably gonna be like not okay for like the rest of his life. So make sure like y'all are keeping y'all mental health, y'all keeping y'all emotional well-being like as best as y'all can, because these are like real life experiences that can mess you up for like the rest of your life. So seek the professional, or like seek the help that you need, not just from this concert, but like just as a call to action, like just to make sure your mental health is straight. Like make sure like you're receiving the help that you need, and get rid of the stigma that there needs to be something wrong with you in order to receive mental help. And like I said, like y'all just stay safe out there. Spread love, just be kind to one another, and let's just do better as people moving forward. Like, it's easy to point the blame at one person, but hold ourselves accountable for what we expect somebody else to do. But this is Marquis Wyman, checking in with y'all. Like I said, appreciate everybody that checked in on me and are continuing to, and I really appreciate everything that y'all been doing for me so far, like listening to the way they ate. Shout out to all the people that were at the concert that made it out safe, that I was actually able to interact with, have a good time with, and have a conversation with. And y'all be safe out there. Stay safe. Peace.